What's up, guys? I'm Ian and welcome back to Club Salty Aquatics. Now today things are going to start moving a little quicker. This is kind of what we've been waiting for, and I'm close enough to where I need to be that we're going to do it. So let's go ahead and dive right in and see what happens.
I just woke up in my underwear, no liquor left on the shelf. I should probably introduce myself. You should have seen what I wore. I had a cane and a party hat. I was the king of this hologram where there's no such thing as getting out of hand.
We're actually going to be kick-starting the cycle. Naturally, that cycle has already started somewhat, and you can't stop it. Unless it's completely empty in there, there's no rock, no sand, there's nothing, you're going to have a cycle naturally occur, because no matter if you get live rock or dry rock, there's still going to be things that are going to end up dying off, adding a little bit of ammonia, and kickstarting that nitrogen cycle, which we are going to go into depth in as far as how that entire cycle works in a different video. For this video, I want to talk mainly about what's going on in this tank that's caused me to decide to go ahead and start this cycling with a certain product that I've never used before, that I'll do a review after the cycle and to see how well it works. But the reason I decided that I'm going to kickstart the cycle today is because the salinity of the tank is within a satisfiable range to keep marine life. It's a little low, so I'm still going to bring it up a little bit, but that means that the bacteria that I'm adding in are not going to have a huge swing in pH or salinity for the tank. It's my pH is sitting good. My ammonia is actually reading zero, and I do have a few little nitrates and nitrites that are occurring due to the nitrogen cycle. But overall, the tank is ready for the full cycle. Now, I know it's already cycled a little bit, because if you look closely in on some of those rocks, you will see that I have some cyanobacteria growing, some diatoms, and some little hair algae. This is all perfectly normal during setting up a new tank. You're going to get these things, and that's why where the purpose of a cleanup crew comes in, about a week to 2 weeks after the cycle has completed. A lot of this algae, a lot of these diatoms, and all that good stuff that's growing in there right now, when the cycle is complete and we build that natural bacteria up for, that's actually going to be taking care of all those little nuisance, thought lost my head. My words didn't come with me today either. That didn't make any sense. For any of those little minerals and ammonia nitrates, the bacteria will actually take care of those, and a lot of that algae, once it doesn't have a food supply anymore, is going to die off. So what we're using to actually cycle this tank is Dr. Tim's Aquatics ammonium chloride solution. This is going to add the actual ammonia into the tank to give the food for the bacteria to actually start colonizing and growing. And then we're going to use some of his one and only bacteria, and I'll use this entire contents. And then I actually have a second one of these. The first one's going to be used to initially start the cycle, get it up and get it going. When over the next few weeks, or maybe shorter, I don't know how fast it's going to work, I'll be testing daily, and I will see when all of my target or all of those ammonia nitrates and nitrites hit zero. That means that I'm ready to add fish in that point, but I'm not going to immediately. At that point, I'm going to do about a 50% water change. That's going to rejuvenize a lot of that nasty water that has gone through the cycle and everything. And then I'm going to actually add a second bottle of this at the same time of adding fish. But the fish aren't going to go in here. We first have to get my quarantine system set up, which will be coming in a future video. So, how do we use this? Well, first we're going to add the ammonium chloride to the tank. It's 1 drop per gallon, so I have to do approximately 150 drops worth of this stuff. You want to put this into a high flow area, so I'm actually going to take the top off here in just a second and drop it right in front of the inductors coming from my return. So, well, hello Zorro. This is Zorro. On top of the tank, it's his favorite place to lay, so I'm sure you're going to see him in plenty of videos. But right now, he's up there trying to get to me. Anyways. Alright, so I've got the canopy part off. This is where you can see that the inside of the canopy has not yet been painted. That's still on my to-do list. You can see, hopefully you can see the lights that I'm using. They're just the cheap Chinese ones. They work really well just to light the aquarium. And they're going to be on here for the foreseeable future until I have saved up enough money to buy a second one of my Aqua Illuminations Hydra 52 HDs. I've said this many times, but that is a $600 light, and it's a considerable expense when I'm on a very tight budget. So, with that said, these will work for fish, and that's primarily what I'm going to do. I'm going to stock the tank mostly with fish before I start on corals, because I want to see that the system is fully stable with the fish and stocking that I have in mind, and make sure that my levels aren't fluctuating and that I can keep pristine water with that. I've seen it happen numerous times. I've had it happen to myself. People will start getting into corals, and then they get into fish, and they kind of bounce back and forth. And then at some point, they'll just overstock their tank, shocks the system, causes it to have a kind of a spike in ammonia. It could be for a matter of a couple of hours before that bacterial load takes over again, and it's okay. But it's enough that can cause those corals stress, and that's really something that I'm trying to avoid. So getting the tank fully stocked before adding any corals will promote the coral growth overall in the long run. With that said, I might be adding some softies like some green star polyp or some leathers and stuff, something that's really tolerant, just to give some motion in there, but nothing like my acros and stylophores and all the good stuff that I have planned. So these lights will suffice, and yeah, the only thing that's really holding me back now is getting the tank cycled, which I'm really excited. At this point, I started this project almost 2 months ago, so it's been a long journey so far. But patience in this hobby is the #1 key to success, and I'm practicing that very, very diligently, not without my own fair share. I walk by this every morning, wishing that I had fish in it. But we're getting close. I'm going to go ahead and crack this open, get these drops in there, add in the bacteria, and then we'll wrap this up, alright? Got to count 150 drops. Okay, well, this bottle isn't very good for drops, so 150 drops, let's say that's probably about 4.5 milliliters or so. Should be, it's about a 60 milliliter bottle. That should do it. So the worst thing that it could have happened is I probably put way too much. It's not going to be an issue. It's just going to take longer for the cycle to take over. I will monitor it. If I don't see significant results within the first week of that ammonia level dropping, then I will do a partial water change, 20 gallons or so, just to kind of take some of that ammonia out and let it continue on. Yeah, not an issue. So it actually dispersed extremely quickly too. I have a lot of flow in this tank. I have about 1,600 to 2,000 gallons circulating through the display tank. I have my pump turned all the way up. It probably will not stay like that as soon as I get all my filtration going. The reason being is on reef tanks and freshwater tanks or any kind of aquatic tank you have, there's two factors that you have to consider. You have to consider your biological or your filtration and how much contact time it needs, and then your display tank, what kind of species you're carrying, corals, fish, etc. what kind of flow requirements they need. So a lot of times display tanks need more flow than sumps. Sumps typically, or your filtration typically only needs about 8 to 10 times turnover. Sometimes even less depending on how you're doing it. Again, this is all stuff we'll go into detail in a future video. I have a lot flowing through my head now, so if I'm rambling, I apologize. I hope you guys are still with me. If not, I'm not gonna blame you. Anyway, so give this a good shake, pull this top off, crack this open. Doesn't smell great. Doesn't smell horrible, but it doesn't smell great. And we're just gonna slowly pour this in and let that move all over the tank. Get the last little bits out of there. And the tank is starting to cycle. So, as far as a baseline or anything, I'm going to give this overnight to adjust and get to where it is going to actually give me a good baseline. All of this interaction and stuff that's going on, if I were to test it right now, the results would not be very clear, nor will they be very accurate for a good baseline. So tomorrow morning, about 12 hours after adding this, I will take on the test kits and show you a video of how I'm actually going to be recording my data overall, along with that initial data set and kind of what it means. This is kind of, well, it's not even kind of, this is the start of what this channel really is going to be about. About not setting up aquariums, but rather proper aquarium techniques. I'm going to end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed. The tank is cycled, so it's a huge step. That's probably why I've been rambling so much. But I'm extremely excited. I can see that there can be fish in this tank within the next 3 or 4 weeks, which is a awesome mile marker. Like I said, that's really going to kickstart what I want this channel to be about. Education on the different species, education on how to keep species better, and overall maintaining tanks to promote the hobby and to promote our ecosystems. So, with that said, I'm Ian. This was Club Salty Aquatics. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like, leave a comment down below if you have any opinions, thoughts, or questions, or criticisms. I love criticisms because it changes my thought process. I do not know everything about this hobby, and I'm in search to learn as much as I possibly can and bring that to you. So, with that said, have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.